Hello everyone, this is Megha from Mevi Technologies and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to build a simple pizza billing system using Python and Gradio. In the previous session, we have learned how does a Gradio works and what is Gradio, right? So we'll continue with the code today for a pizza billing system. So we know that we have to define a function. So if I want to build a interface for a Gradio, interface using a Gradio means I should always have the function. So first I'm building a function. So what I need is I want to select the size of a pizza and topping of a pizza. In return, it's going to give me the bill. Okay, so now let us start with that. So I'm calling this function as pizza bill, and here the first thing I'm going to send is size, then toppings. Okay, so here I should have either the if if pizza size equal to medium, then price is this, then price is that, like that. But here I want to make it a little optimized by using the dictionaries. So let us see how we can do that. I'm going to say that size is equal to, so here I'm going to have the size and the price. So let me call it as size P. So first I'll select for small, and in this small I'm going to keep the small as 149, and then I'll have the medium. Okay, so in the medium, so I'll just make sure that these formats looks like what we want to select as a radio button in the Gradio interface. Okay, so medium, I'll keep the price as 8. So one, maybe 249 or something, I'll keep it. Then I'll make the large pizza. Okay, so the large pizza as 349. Okay, then now I have a dictionary of size and the price. So let us discuss the same thing. Let us do the same thing for toppings as well. So I'm going to say that toppings price is equal to, so I'll take down the dictionary again. So here I'll say onion, so I'll make it as 100. Then I'll make corn as 149. Then I'll make the maybe olives as 140. Then I'll let me make paneer to be 150. Okay, so here I'm having some of the toppings. So the reason it's showing me a red line, a error over here, because I've missed a comma over here. Then after this, so what I'll do is I have to select the size price. So I'm just going to make the size price as a base price because that's the base price. On top of it, I'm adding a topping price, right? So I'm going to say that BP base price is equal to, so I have to get the size price, right? So I'm going to say that size, so size price, in that I have to get the prices. So I can either say a bracket and then I can pass down this size over here. The size I can pass it, so it will look for the small, medium or large. Whichever the user selects, it matches, it's going to get that. But instead of using this list option or traversing using a list kind of thing or fetching an element using the name, so here I can say size over here. Okay, so let me just return the size, return base price. Okay, so I'll say return base price. Just I'll call this function and see how this is going to work. I'm just trying to teach you how does the, so this is capital P, right? That's the reason it was showing me a red line over there. So now I'll say pizza bill and I'll say size as small and I'll just say topping something. Okay, since I have not fetched the toppings, that shouldn't show me an error, so I'm just giving it like this. So let me execute this. So it's getting me the small prices. So basically I'm trying to fetch that particular value. So for example, just a small dictionary feature it is. If you use the list over here, it will get this value for the name, that for the key that you have passed. Okay, and so these are the items that the dictionary is holding, and it's going to fetch you the particular value of that particular key. Okay, just a normal dictionary way. So this is fine. So now sometimes the user can pass like this. So it will show me an error, the key error small. So at that time, rather than using this way of fetching an item, I can use a get method. So what I'll do is over here as dot get, and in that get, what I want to get based on the size that the user is sending. So I'm going to use a bracket over here and say size, and then I'm going to say 0. Let us see how this is work. Now you can see that I got 0 since this was not found. So now instead of capital small s, I'll say capital S, and it's fetching me for 4149. So this is how the get method would work. Now let us repeat the same thing for the toppings as well. So instead of BP, I'll say topping price. Okay, topping price. All I think I have used TOPY, so okay, let me use TP. And here instead of this, I'll use this. And I'm going to say get, instead of size, I'll say take it as toppings. And now this is how it works. So what I can do is I can return this here TP. Okay, or you might want to make it as a statement. At that time I can use a string format saying that if the, so I'll just take this over here and say the total prices, total price is BP plus CB, and this has to be inside the flower brackets. So, and I'll say rupees. Now I'll save this. Let me add a Gradio interface for this. To add a Gradio interface, we already know that the first and foremost thing is I need to import Gradio. And I need to, before that, I need to install Gradio. So what I'll do is I'll say over here as pip install Gradio. Meanwhile, to get installed, let us write the Gradio UI. Okay, so I'm going to say that pip install Gradio, and here I'm having import Gradio, and that import Gradio, let us let us define what is the function that we are taking, input and output. So now I'll say that, so interface or iFace is equal to gr.interface. So this is how we define a interface, and I'm going to say inside this. Okay, now here I have to first write which function am I trying to take. So I'm going to say that fn is equal to, what was the function name? The function name was pizza bill. So I'm taking the function name pizza bill, and I'll separate it with a comma. Then over here, I'll say it as what are the inputs. So here I'm taking two inputs, right? So I cannot give it earlier like, just input, just text or something. So I need to mention it as a list of inputs because I'm having more than one input. So I'm going to take a list over here. So I have to say gr dot inputs. Okay, so here what is the type of input that I'm taking, I need to mention. So I might want to have a radio button where a user can select. So I'm going to say that radio. So inside that radio, I'm going to pass a list of items that I'm having. So here you can see that I've taken this as an option. So I need to make sure that the same spelling should reflect over here because it's going to search for this. The size is going to take a value, whatever we are going to put it over here. So I'm going to say small, and then I'm going to say medium. If the spelling doesn't match, it will take the toppings as 0 or the size as 0. So make sure the spelling will match. Now here I'll make it as large. So now the one input is ready. Let us see for the another input. So I'm going to say that again, I'm taking the radio button itself, dot radio. So R has to be capital. Then here, whatever I have over here, okay, I'll just copy down and I'll remove the prices over there. Okay, so here, so I'll remove this prices because all I need is I just want the values. I don't need the prices and all. So let me just take it to the previous line. So after this, we have to define our output function, and we already know that output function. What is that output function? The output that we are using is nothing but the text, right? We are just returning the text. We are not returning the number and the text, or we are just returning one single output over here. Even though we are returning the number as well as the text, it's just a one single output. Okay, so now let us define the output function. So here I'll separate it with a comma. So, and here you can see that I'm having an error. So that means one output, one box is not there. So let us see where we have missed that. So here it's closed. Okay, so here I should not have. Yes, one extra box was there. That's the reason. So now I'll just have one more brackets over here. So here let me say output, even though I'm having only one single output, but we have to mention it like outputs, not output. Now I'll say text over here. So we might want to give maybe a small title for our application. So I'll give it as title is equal to pizza billing system. Okay, now the title is ready. Now let us launch the iFace and see if this is working. So let us execute this. So here we are having, yeah, so a comma is missing. Okay. Now earlier we used to have this Gradio hosted with the only 72 hours of working, which used to be a shareable link. Now we are having it to 1 week. Up to 1 week it's going to be there. After 1 week the link will expire. So now I'll just say small, and here I'm having onion as one. Okay, let us see why it is coming. So toppings, I'm having ONION. Okay, so it's selecting both. Now let us see what's the issue. So onion, okay. And here what we have not done is we have not formed a list over here. So it is considering only the first one as to be a list, a string. It is just iterating through a string, which is a mistake over here. I'll execute this once again and let us see why it is coming like that. So earlier the one big bracket was missing over here, and big bracket opening and closing was missing. So this was taking only onion as a list. So because this is also a list of characters and where I can iterate through it. And we know that string is mutable. String is not like a mutable, you can say, but a string we are, it just works like a list apart from changing an element, right? That's the reason I was getting ONION as a one single item. Now you can see we are getting both. So I'm selecting a large pizza with paneer topping, and if I submit it, here you can see that it is giving me 349. Why it is not giving me the text over here? Because I have executed this particular pizza bill before I was writing the format. Let me execute this again, and I'll execute this again. Now let us see if this is working. So here the same thing, just that I have executed again. So large and olives I'll click on submit. Here you can see that the total price is 489 rupees. And if you want to have it in a new tab, you can go for this link. It will launch it in a new tab, and you can see it's just like a web page. So right now, whatever we have done it for pizza billing system. Then what we can do is we can update this pizza billing system for this new drop downs and update it with the quantity, add the coke and all the other beverages and so on. So we'll meet in the next session discussing with some more features of the pizza billing system with the Gradio. Let us add the features in the part 3. Thank you so much for watching. We'll meet in the part 3.